Good morning, YouTube. All right, just because we can, we're taking a gorgeous pork loin and we're gonna stuff it with tomatoes, roasted garlic, onion, and spinach, and it is divine. You're gonna wanna make this one. Trust me, you can do this. All right, let's cook, y'all. We got a family to feed. Alright, so in theory, I'm going to be shooting the video, but Brian's now retired, which means he's here, and I don't think he has the ability to be quiet for 3 seconds in a row, so we're going to see how this works.
Sure I can.
I don't think so. Alright, so we're going to start the stuffing for our pork roast, right? So we're going to use roasted garlic, and I've got a video, if I remember, God help me, Hannah. If I can remember, I will link through to the video on how to roast garlic, but if I don't remember, here in a nutshell is how you do it. Ricky, would you throw that back? Close that up and put it back in the fridge. All right, so we just have a bunch of garlic that I threw, and you know, a couple of heads worth. You can buy fresh garlic and peel and do your own thing if you want to. You obviously can tell I don't want to. I go through so much garlic, y'all, and I cook for so many people by myself that sometimes I'm going to take a shortcut here and there, and that's one of them. All right, so about 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt and about 2 teaspoons of olive oil went over the top of that. I got a double layer of aluminum foil, tin foil. There. Crimp it up. See, just crimp it up so it's nice and sealed. 350 degree oven, and then I'm going to set a timer for an hour. Alright, that is step 1 for our stuffing, and here is step 2. Oh, nice. I can't get it open. I got the 8 ounces, this little half-pound container of cherry tomatoes. Dang it! I'm going to be back in a second. Can you open this? Alright, so I finally got the tomatoes open, and all I did over here is I cut them in half, and they're just sitting over here, sitting over here on a baking sheet. And then I've got 1/2 of an onion. Now the onion and the garlic, I will probably end up whizzing through a food processor to make them smoother. I want some texture left in the tomato. But we're going to roast all of these things that are going to go inside our stuffed pork loin. Okay, so these are just going over here like this. Kind of small pieces, but you know, you're not worrying about it too much. And here goes our cutting board and to our tomatoes and our onion. We're going to give a drizzle of olive oil, a sprinkle of salt. Exact way we seasoned our garlic, right? And we do have our onion, it's on 350 degrees. Now, let me say something. It would be better, okay, whoever left their phone, can you go make it quiet? It would be better if I had smaller sheets and I had my onions on one and my tomatoes on another. Of course, my garlic's on a third. Each of these things cook at slightly different rates, right? So I'm gonna check these tomatoes at about 20 minutes. I want some caramelization. I might let them go farther. Same thing with the onions. I'm going to check, but I'm looking for color and flavor. They will do no more than warm up once they're on the inside of the pork loin and the stuffing. So here's where we get the flavor in our stuffing. This is how we do it. All right. Now, depending on how they look, what colors they have, how much liquid they have released, I will give them a little more or less time. And I will pull the onions off independently from the tomatoes. All right, guys, 20 minutes, 350 degree oven. All right, so final part of our stuffing, guys. I've got one of these. What is that? A skillet. Got a little bit of olive oil. Medium-low heat. And we're throwing in a couple big handfuls of spinach. Just like that. And you know, it seems like you're using all the spinach on the planet, but you know, it releases all its liquid and it reduces down to nothing. So you'll look at that and you're like, where'd all the spinach go? No problem. Alright, and you know the drill. Salt, a little bit. It's about a teaspoon of kosher salt. Remember, we're using kosher salt, not table salt. Don't use that much for table salt. And lots of cranks of nice black pepper. And one thing I'm going to add here that I didn't do on the other layers because I just love it. This is getting a pinch of crushed red pepper flake. And it's going to seem like a lot, but remember this stuffing is for a pretty big pork roast. Teaspoon and a half. I like it in here with the spinach. So you can already hear the sizzle. Watch this. This is kind of cool. Only the part that comes in contact with the heat on the bottom of the skillet will start to wilt, but that wilts really, really quickly. See this one right here? You can already see it starting to give it up. And this is all there is to this part. Alright, so we're going to give this about 3 or 4 minutes. We're going to keep stirring it, make sure it gets completely wilted. And I'll be back and show you what that looks like. And then we're waiting on the stuffing stuff to come out of the oven. Alright, just a couple minutes later, and you see how much our spinach has reduced. Now, here's why you want to do the sauteing before you put this in your stuffing, because you can see all this, can you see? The bubbling. That's the water that was released from the spinach, where it's steaming off. You don't want to put that where it's going to get trapped inside your pork roast, because it'll interfere with the flavor and browning and everything else, right? Great. All right, we're going to set this aside, let it cool, and come back and show you how to start putting the stuffing together. Okay, I want a little more color on these. I'm just checking in on them though, seeing how we're doing. We're starting to get some golden on our onion. That's perfect. So I'm just going to give them a little stir. You don't really want to go all the way to caramelization. You just want to kind of get it close. Walk it in the neighborhood. Act like you're looking around. Alright, and then our tomatoes actually could take a good bit longer. I do want a lot more color on them. We're only first starting to get the hints of caramelization. I think I have figured out. Well, I thought I'd figured out. That was supposed to make it focus on those tomatoes so you can see them. Anyway, getting the first hints of some color, but these are going to go back in. And we still have 20 minutes on the garlic, so we're good to go for a while. Alright, so we're going to get our pork roast ready to stuff. And this is a 6-pound pork roast minus a very small piece that I cut off to show something else. But anyway, 6 pounds. Alright, now, a couple ways you can do this. This is technically called butterflying. And you're going to come down through here, and then we're going to cut it open so that you can lay it open like a book. And it's not hard. The first time you do it, you may screw it up, and the world won't come to an end. Don't worry about it. Okay? So this is it. We're just straight down the center line. Now, at this point, we're coming this way. We're looking for more places we can open it up so we can get more stuffing in there. Only thing is, don't go all the way through the edge. You know what happens if you do that? Not much. But your stuffing will leak. So you don't want your leak. Nobody wants a leaky stuffing. Although, if you have enough butcher's twine, you can fix almost anything. All right, you see this? Now we are wide open, and we are transferring all of this over here. And I am going to wash my hands because I forgot to get my salt. All right, give me just a second. Okay, so we've got our pork roast over here laid out. And I got kosher salt. We're going to season the interior. And we're still waiting on the garlic to finish roasting, so we're not quite ready to put everything together, but we're almost ready. Alright, so salt and pepper on the interior of our pork loin. And I thought about this, you can run your stuffing ingredients through the food processor if you want to. I'm not going to do it. Why did my timer go off? Alright, so this is what we look like with salt and pepper. Ready to go. I'm going to reset my timer. There we go. All right, fine. Now let me find my hot pad because my tomatoes are hot. All right, so here are our onions and our tomatoes. See, we've got some nice color on there. Lots of nice golden brown. See, did we get it? Sometimes if I touch the little screen, it'll come into focus better. I'm trying to do that. All right, and then some color on our tomatoes. And I was gonna whiz them up and make them finer, but I think I kind of like the whole rustic, chunkier thing. I cut those in pretty small pieces. All right, so these are just all gonna go into this little mixing bowl I got over here. And we ended up, I know I did all my talking about how they take different times to cook, and they didn't. They all took about 30 minutes. Okay, whatever. If I hadn't said that, oopsie. All right, now as you're working, taste. If your stuffing ingredients don't taste good before you stuff them, it's not going to taste good. It's not going to improve anything by putting it in your pork roast. But those are delicious. Wow. Tomatoes roasted like that? Absolutely yummy. All right, so our spinach, we drained off the liquid. We let it come down in temperature. And we're just gonna run our knife through it. But you still have those stems, right? So you're gonna break all that up. And it's not very pleasant to bite into something and you've got a long stringy piece of spinach. It has a tendency to pull out of whatever you're eating and slap you in the chin. That's not good. All right, that's it. So we're gonna pause here. We're still waiting on our garlic. We're gonna mix together our little bowl over here and come back and stuff that pork roast. Like, just came out of the oven. This stuff is gorgeous. So I'm just gonna pop a few cloves over here. It's kind of funny, I've got a couple kids that will actually just snack on this stuff. Alrighty, so there we go. This I'm gonna set aside for something else. And look at this, look how tender that is. You see? It really gets buttery and nutty and amazing and delicious. And this right here, if you toast some French bread and just smear it on the French bread, toasty French bread, you all, go try that, you'll love it. All right, so this is our tomatoes, our spinach, and our onion. And to this, we are adding 8 to 10 cloves of roasted garlic, mashed up. So that goes in there. And then about a half a cup of Parmesan cheese. We're gonna stir all this together. If your stuffing is too stiff, if it's too hard to work with, put a tablespoon or so of half and half or heavy cream in it. We'll loosen it up a little bit. But this is fine. We did a lot of roasting, which meant we lost a lot of moisture in these ingredients in the oven. But it also means that we concentrated a lot of flavor. So all of the moisture that is in spinach, that's in our tomatoes, that was in our onions, that all evaporated. We got rid of that. But it means we concentrated all those gorgeous flavors. And when you taste this stuffing, it is unbelievable. Oh man. Levi?
Hey.
Hey. What are you doing, Kip?
Getting water.
All right. So, here's all we're doing here. Just right over the interior, down into all those crevices, all those bits and parts that we cut open when we did our little butterfly maneuver. Try to get that nice and even. All right, that part's done. Oop. Hello, don't let it run off. That's how we look like now. And then, just some pieces of butcher's twine that I cut. All right, and then we roll him back up. And it's slippery. So I'm going to tie each end, and then I'm going to run a couple more pieces of string around the middle. And guys, use whatever kind of knot you want. People get so weird and flip out over, oh, you have to have this kind of knot for that. You know what you need a knot for? You need the kind of knot that holds it closed. That's the kind of knot you need. So if you know how to do a surgeon's knot and you feel like that's a valuable way to spend your time, then by all means, if you want to use an upholsterer's needle and give it sutures, okay. But I promise, I have 45 years of experience, and I can guarantee that if you want to do this and you want to put little shoestring bows on it, it works just fine too. Alright, I'm going to preheat my oven, I'm going to wash my hands, and I'll be back in a minute. Boom, will you hit the off button on my camera, babe?
There it is.
Alright, so preheating my oven to 500 degrees, and yes, I know 500 is a lot, but it's not going to stay there for very long, okay? What we're going to do is we're giving him a little coating of olive oil on the outside. Another reason why you can't keep it at 500 too long, olive oil will burn. And then push your salt nice and heavy on the outside here. The reason we're at 500 is we're going to start him off nice and high, and then we're going to cut it down pretty quick. After about 10 minutes, we're going to turn it down to 350 degrees, and we're going to insert a meat thermometer at that point to track it, because we're going to go to 135 degrees. And my pepper has disappeared again. No, it didn't. It's right in front of my face. We want to go to about 135. We don't really want it rare, but we do need to get it hot enough, long enough on the inside for our stuffing, which, remember, our stuffing is completely cooked, right? But we need to get it nice and hot all the way through. And now I ran out of pepper right there. That was perfect. All right, guys, here we go. 500 degrees. Hi. 500 degrees, 10 minutes, cut it to 350, and then we're going to use an instant read. That apparently now I have to find, no I don't, here. Instant read thermometer to 135 degrees. And when you're putting your thermometer in there, make sure you're going to the center. A lot of people tend to insert a thermometer and they'll go to this would be the center right here, and then they'll push it on through. And if it's on the bottom of the roasting pan right there, it's going to read too high and the interior won't be well cooked. So you want to go to the middle. And what's perfect is if your thermometer probe is resting right where that stuffing is. That's what you want. All right, 10 minutes, then however long it ends up being. Okay, we are done and out of the oven. Our timer beeped at 135 degrees. And this is what it looks like. And it's gorgeous and it's beautiful, and you want to cut it right away, but I'm telling you right now, don't. It'll break your heart. If you cut into that while it's this hot, all those lovely juices from the inside will just run right out all over your cutting board instead of staying on the inside where we want them. So be patient. Set a timer. Give yourself 10 minutes. Okay, real quick. All I'm doing right here is I'm taking all these drippings. I can't get all of them. I can get most. If I go trying to scrape hard enough to get them all, I'll tear the foil and make myself mad. So don't do that. But as many of these drippings as possible over here onto a pan, because we're going to do a really quick pan sauce to serve with this. And the other thing is, I stuck this pork roast over here on a cutting board. That's about all we're gonna get there. And it's one of these cutting boards. See that? It has that little trough, which is actually not deep enough to actually catch enough juice to do anything but, you know, kind of give you a heads up and a warning that it's about to all run on the floor. So all I do is sit this at an angle with one corner over the edge of my skillet while I'm waiting on it to finish resting, okay? I'll show y'all how to make this pan sauce here in just a minute.
How many times I'm gonna talk or when I curse, so you can't use them?
Get out of here.
Yeah, that's
Okay, so I lost part of this recipe because Ricky was being cute. Alright, so I put the pan drippings in here. I put a tablespoon of butter. I've got it on medium heat. And then what did I do? 3 tablespoons of something. That would be flour, Bob. 3 tablespoons of flour. All right. So over medium heat, you just whisk all that together. You see? That's nice. And then we have some chicken broth that I made earlier today. I was poaching chicken. You can use homemade. You can use boxed. I will not judge you on your broth. And you just whisk it in. This is all there is to that. At each stage though, as you add the broth, make sure you whisk it until that stage is smooth. That helps you from having lumpy gravy. And even then, I don't personally think the lumpy gravy is the end of the world. Kinsley's causing laundry disasters. What'd you do, kid?
It was silent, so.
A silent laundry disaster.
Yeah, the chair just fell over.
Chair fell over, great.
But that's okay. You know?
We're gonna have a new laundry room in about 2 weeks, and we can't stand it. We're excited.
You are excited.
I am excited. Everybody's gonna be excited.
I don't know why.
Well, because for the first time in decades, I will actually have a laundry room that is designed to do laundry for 8 or more people.
But Mom, you know what's exciting too?
Yes.
You're getting your own bathroom.
I'm getting my own bathroom, that's right. I'm gonna go hide in my room and lock the door. Oh man, that tastes good. Okay, now, always check your seasonings and adjust it for salt and pepper. This does not need any more salt. It just doesn't. That means, as we were cooking, we seasoned each element as we went. So we had all the juices and the drippings that came out, and it was perfect the way it is, okay? So don't over season at this point, but don't serve under seasoned gravy either. That's not nice for anybody. All right, I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna slice our roast, put it on a plate, let this finish coming up to a boil so it'll be fully thickened, and I'll show you what it all looks like before I put it in my mouth. All right, so our roast has rested at least, I want to go at least 10 minutes. This one's been more like 20. That's fine. It's still going to be plenty hot. And it just gives it time for all those juices to redistribute. I talk about it so like when you roast something, and we roast a cut of meat, it's almost like a workout, right? All the juices go running to the surface. It's like you do when you sweat. As you rest and catch your breath, they redistribute all the way back through. That's as far as that analogy goes. I don't have anything else. Alright, so I took off the strings, right? This first slice will be rough. That does not bother me, but if you're looking to make really perfectly beautiful slices for something, this first one's going to be a little wobbly. So I'm going to set him over here. That's the one I get to snack on because I'm the cook. And we're putting this little lovely over here on a plate. And this is for me to get pictures of for y'all. Probably just enough time for the kids to realize it's ready. And then they'll come hijack me. Which, I just plan on it now. We've been doing this long enough. I think we know each other. That's just how that's gonna happen. Okay, so I'm gonna show y'all a real pretty picture. Bud, where are you sneaking on? Get your butt back in there and put that laundry up, mister. All right, I'll get you a good picture of how pretty that is. Because it is. And then this piece. Oh, you know what? I forgot our pan sauce. Holy cow. It's even better than I thought it was. All right, so this is our lumpy piece. So this is what we get to snack on and what we get to taste. And then we're gonna find a ladle. Here's our pan sauce. Oh yeah. I don't know why I'm whispering. So we had that roasted garlic and the spinach and the onion, the tomato. No. Food shouldn't taste that good, y'all. Just shouldn't. Hey YouTube, thanks for watching, and if you thought that video was helpful, do me a huge favor. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the little bell so you get a notification whenever I post a new video. And if you have a second, hop on over to Patreon and check out how to support my channel even more. Again, thanks for watching.